Hello friends, what's up? Welcome back to a new budget-friendly meal idea video. I hope you really like these meals. Do me a huge favor, start off by giving this video a huge thumbs up. Let me know in a comment below if you like this two-part series, and let's roll into today's recipes.
I do want to make a quick correction. I stretched this meal into 12 instead of 10 meals. You can call it a meal, you can call it a serving. The reason I call it a meal, and I always have someone say, this is not a meal. A meal is breakfast, lunch, or dinner. That is what the description of a meal is. So this would technically be a serving or a meal, however you want to call it. I call it a meal, you can call it a serving. It doesn't really matter. Potato, potato, okay? Okay, moving on. This is actually 12 meals because I had 12 oatmeal packets. I just kind of played with the serving a little bit of the yogurt, so it kind of ebbed and flowed. Some of the meals I didn't add the strawberries to, some I did, some I had a little bit more peanut butter. You get what I'm saying. I really actually loved having this for breakfast and a snack later in the day, but if you wanted to, you could just make this a really big breakfast and it would be really good. So super easy. I microwaved the oats for a minute with some water. This specific meal added 1 cup of yogurt. Again, I ebb and flowed with the serving sizes because it didn't have to be perfect. As I explained in part 1, which is linked up above right now, you can check that one out. It's my whole grocery haul. I know that everybody's hunger ebbs and flows. So some days I might want more peanut butter and more strawberries, or some days I might want a smaller snack or breakfast. Like I said, I liked having this for breakfast and then later on in the day before dinner for a snack. It was really good. And yes, I know I could warm up the strawberries, but it's way more fun punching them out with the fork. And also makes like the perfect consistency and temperature so you can eat these right away. I don't know what it is about the frozen fruit, but it's like the perfect consistency when I do it this way. So here's 2 options. If you add 1 cup of yogurt with my exact ingredients is 35 grams of protein. If you do 3/4 cup, it's 28 grams of protein, which is, in my opinion, perfect. I try to eat at least 20 grams of protein per meal. So if I'm hitting above that, it's a win-win for me. I like eating high protein. It's just very fitting in the stage of life that I'm currently in. P.S. I know a lot of people can't have peanut butter. I know. I am one of those people. I couldn't have it for many years. I explained some substitutions that you can use in today's video here in a little bit.
That breakfast was so good and so filling, and just so you guys know, I did kind of put like an overlay to explain, but if I do 3/4 cup serving, I have 10 breakfasts. I have a little bit of wiggle room really because I have 12 packets of oatmeal, so a little wiggle room. This specific day that I shared this meal with you, I did a whole cup, so that means later on I'll have to do a half cup, but I like having that flexibility. Plus, if I wanted to, I could do a 1 cup serving for breakfast and then a half cup serving later on with another packet of oats. So it's just kind of like ebbs and flows. I think I accidentally just said 10 servings and I mean 12. Anyways, you get the gist. But I like having that option so I can do like a breakfast or lunch depending if my hunger is more that day, depending on how I train or not. So I really liked that. For me personally, this was the perfect pre-workout meal or post-workout meal. I have it as a pre-workout. I explain this in my fitness vlog on the weekends because I don't work out as soon as I get up. But during the weekdays, I would have this after my shake and it was absolutely perfect. This meal would have super easy substitutions. I mentioned in part 1, I would give you some substitutions. I know a lot of people can't have peanut butter. I couldn't eat peanut butter for 7 years and then something just changed with pregnancy and now I'm able to eat peanut butter. So anyways, you can substitute any kind of nut butter. If you don't want to pay for a more expensive nut butter, you could probably just swap out the yogurt for a high-fat yogurt just to kind of get some more fat in this meal because it is protein and carb focused without the peanut butter with the fat-free yogurt, and then oats has like 2 grams of fat. Now, I actually took the lunch meal out. So if you watched my grocery haul, you'll see I had more groceries than you're gonna see in today's video. The reason for that is because life keeps lifing, and we had a couple different changes the week that I filmed this. So I had not made the tofu rice meal that I'm going to share with you in another video. It'll probably be a few weeks before I'm able to make it, to be honest, just because I have more videos already filmed and food made and I don't like to waste things. So that was the specific reason why I didn't make that meal, and I didn't want to hold back this video because I did say it was going to be the next video. So instead of throwing another video in between and then frustrating everybody, you're just going to see that meal that I'm going to make in the future. So hang tight. I am sorry, it's not meant to be 3 parts. We'll still continue on as 2 parts, but I am going to throw that meal in to a different video here soon.
Here is your dinner option. I am so sorry the lunch one didn't make it in, but I said life is lifing right now, and we just had like a little hiccup earlier in the week, and so I didn't end up making lunch. We had some of these meals and we had other things going on, so I'm not going to explain my whole life, but I only ended up using one of the pasta sauces, so I took that out of my budget for this. Originally, I was going to use both, but I thought this had plenty of sauce, but you could budget it in if you want to do a heavier sauce meal. This was nice and cheesy. So as I am showing you what I'm doing, I'm going to explain kind of some of the substitutions you could use to save even more money. So you could use TVP. It's basically the same thing as these beef crumbles. You can get them at Trader Joe's. As far as I know, you can get them at some Whole Foods. You can get them at some local groceries, etc., etc. You could use that. You could also use lentils. Lentils would save you even more money. It would make it a little less protein per serving, but lentils are super cheap. You could substitute a pound of lentils and save yourself $5 right out the gate on this meal, which is incredible. If you wanted to, instead of buying the pasta sauce, you could buy canned tomatoes, make your own little sauce, use a little bit of tomato paste in there, and you would probably save close to $1.50 overall if you're using 2 jars of pasta sauce. If you don't want to use cottage cheese, I have a substitution down in the description box below. There's a link that I found. I've never tried it. I'm curious enough, though, that I might try it. I don't know. And another way you could save a lot of money in this meal is to just use regular, old-fashioned pasta. You don't have to use a high protein pasta if you don't care about it being super high protein. This was 37 grams of protein per meal. I thought that was amazing because, again, I'm hitting over that 20 mark. I'm almost doubling that. But just using regular pasta alone would have saved me, let's see, $4.50, I think. So that's a lot of money. Like, if you think about it, just substituting lentils and the pasta sauce. So that would almost cut this meal in half. But for me, I wanted those things, so I'm willing to add that into my budget. No, I'm not doing anything fancy to the green beans. These are steamable green beans. So I just decided to put them on the bottom of the container. And then when I rewarmed this meal, I rewarmed it for 2.5 minutes, and the beans were perfect. They're perfectly cooked, in my opinion, just the way I like them. But you can roast them. You can saute them with some butter if you want to do some olive oil. Do whatever is best for you. Add some more seasoning. Totally up to you. This meal is very, very basic. I made this really quickly while I was making another dinner for this night. So I did some meal prep, made a dinner, and had a free facial with that steam. After I rinsed my pasta, I went ahead and added my beef crumbles and then my pasta sauce, which, as you saw, was just the cottage cheese and the marinara whipped up. That made it so creamy. Someone had mentioned that in a comment a few videos back, like, hey, you should definitely try it. This is what I do. I mix my marinara with my cottage cheese. 10 out of 10 recommend. So good. Was probably the reason I didn't need the second jar of tomato sauce. Now, as far as the second container of cottage cheese, I'll show you here in a little bit, but I added that per meal. So I kind of ebb and flowed just like I did with the breakfast, depending on if I was more hungry or less hungry or wanted more protein or less protein. I added cottage cheese to each of these meals. Now, personally for me, 12 meals is a lot of food. These are big servings, so I shared them with my husband, which was nice, and my daughter. She loved these noodles. She chowed them. It was so cute. Anyways, I hope you really like this. I hope you like seeing how I portioned it out. I had so many meals because of this. I had to use our secondary refrigerator to stack meals in. I literally felt like I was a meal prep service because this was just so much food. And then, like I said, we were making dinner this night, and it was just, there was a lot going on. Life is always lifing. Am I right? Anyways, here is my final meals. They're so pretty in their own little way. Didn't use the extra pasta sauce, and then I'll show you here in a second what I ended up doing. But if you want to just eat this like this, you wouldn't have to buy the extra cottage cheese. But if you do want the bigger bang of protein, like I said, I just measured some out and put it on each meal as I preferred. Some meals I skipped it, some meals I didn't. It just made it super extra creamy. And like I said, the beans were actually cooked to perfection. But with the extra cottage cheese, it's 37 grams of protein per meal. Really, really good. Honestly, I would make this every single week. Just cut down the portion sizes because 12 is a lot.
For the last meal, which is more of a dinner meal in my opinion, it's the pasta meal, but it made 12 servings, which is so much food. These servings were huge. Personally, I didn't do anything with the green beans. I just threw them in the container and then defrosted them in the microwave. They're perfect because they're steamable vegetables. You could also roast them, saute them in some butter if you like, or some oil. Doesn't matter. whatever preference is for you. Now I did only end up using 1 container of the pasta sauce, so my price did decrease overall. It was like $2 for the pasta sauce, so I took that out of my overall budget when sharing today's video. Now I did have a question on the last video asking for a substitution for cottage cheese if you are plant-based, don't eat dairy, and I have substitution for you. It is linked down in the description box. I've never tried it, but if you try it, let me know. I'd love to hear. Thank you so much for joining me for today's budget video. You know these are my favorite, and I'll see you soon in a new video. As I've been sharing, I'm posting now 3 times a week, so turn on your notifications so you never miss a new video by me. See you soon. Bye.